My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
This is Pull or Pass, the section of the show.
He does it live every week.
Every week, live. Every week I do it. It's perfect. All the times. You know that time when I was struggling with it? It's sort of like that Mark and I thing.
Yeah.
Things of the past. Perfect. This is Pull or Pass, where we take a look at typically 3 comic books, sometimes more, sometimes we go crazy with it, but it's usually... we stick with a minimum of at least 3 comic books each week, and we say whether we're going to pull on them or pass on them. And if you're a bit confused at the terminology there, don't worry, we've got your back. So when you go into a local comic book store and you pick up an issue of something, let's say, for example, you've been binge watching Umbrella Academy, so you pick up an Umbrella Academy book. I probably used this analogy last week as well.
Probably did. Don't matter.
You pick up, it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. You pick up, you pop it on the desk. The clerk behind the desk will typically ask, do you want to add this to your pull? And you just blindly say yes, because that's what people sort of do at the desk. I know I do that.
Not everybody does that.
So I'm just speaking from experience, just because I know I've got a load of cards that I do not need, just because I can't say no to someone behind a desk. But you say yes, and
particularly if she's pretty.
Don't even need to be a person. Self-checkout. Do you need a bag? I know you're a robot and I can say no to you, but it's... I'm joking, of course.
He's not.
I can say no to robots.
He's not. We've tangented.
Where we were going with this. Yeah. So when you get, they'll put it back. And whenever another Umbrella Academy book comes out, or whatever else you pay for, they'll put it behind the desk for you. And it's like a sort of subscription sort of service, but less intense, less, we need your money every week. Direct debits, all that jargon, all that scary stuff. It's just sort of more casual. You can come in every Wednesday when new comic books come out and they'll be like, oh, here's your pull. You might not have anything on, you might have a load on. Or you can come in like once a month, payday. It's all sort of chilled out. You can take stuff off your pull. You can, if you see something, it's important that we note this because we need to start doing this. We figured last week. You can see that something's going to be out in a couple of weeks' time and add it to your pull. So then that way you know you're going to have an issue of it and not miss out and have to do it a week later.
We didn't do that last week.
No, we did not do that last week. So this is sort of our redemption pull or pass, because we've got 2 books from last week that we did not put on our pull soon enough, so we didn't get to get, but this time around we got, and an issue 2 that when the first issue came out there was something else out by Marvel, so we covered that, but we knew we wanted to cover this book, and that's the book we're going to start off with. It was Daredevil 2. We did 1 and 2. We did a double bill. Daredevil 2 was out this week. Obviously they didn't release 2 then 1, by Chip Zdarsky. Now I was very much looking forward to this on our review of the look forward even for the year. I put this book up there just because I've been loving the stuff Chip Zdarsky's been doing recently. Howard the Duck, Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel 2-in-1, Jughead, and recently for trade-off read, it's coming in the near future, don't worry guys, Sex Criminals. Really enjoyed that as well, and Chip Zdarsky, man, what a dude. But what did you think as a very advocate of Daredevil? Did you use that word?
I loved the Frank Miller run, and I think that's still considered the best Daredevil run. And I've always, Daredevil's always been an absolute favourite of mine, and this was outstanding.
Epic.
Absolutely outstanding comic books.
It was fantastic. Like the story and the art complemented each other so well. Like I loved when, obviously, if you know Daredevil, of course you do, Netflix series, he's blind but he's got these like sonar powers so he can see, and they use the art to illustrate that, and they changed
so
back and forth. Like they would repeat a scene and just show it from Daredevil's perspective, and it was gorgeous. And the story as well, because it's that typical story of, you know, Matt Murdock having to go against Kingpin, but Kingpin this time around is the mayor, he's got the police on him. Daredevil's,
and he's also not he's also innocent.
He's not that. Yeah, he's not evil time around.
Well, he's not. We don't know that yet, but he hasn't done any evil so far.
Because someone's there's been a murder. Where in a Daredevil fight scene when he was clearing up some criminals, one of the criminals he's cleared up has been died a few moments into the hospital, and now people are sort of looking at Daredevil in a different way. They're seeing him as a murderer, but Daredevil's having that conflict of like, I couldn't have done it. I know where exactly to hit. So he's trying to work out who would have framed him, and Foggy Nelson's in there to try and be like, oh no, you should claim your innocence. It's like, Foggy, step aside. I know what I'm doing here.
This book, the artwork, the story, the understanding of the character.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just sublime.
And I think it is that understanding of the character, because if you're missing Daredevil from the Netflix stuff, they harken into that, and obviously the Frank Miller and all the classic Daredevil.
I just feel
things of like the relationship with the church, because they do a mini origin, mini origin in here. They show like his relationship with his dad,
like a flashback.
Yeah, and they do, like just his relationship with the church and how like of confession. And there's this part where he's younger, and he goes, oh, I heard you were breaking and entering. It's like, oh, they're making him a criminal here. But then it was the whole he was saving a friend, one of his childhood friends got his cards robbed or something, and he was taking it back from so it's sort of like, the vigilante even from a young age, and that was a nice touch.
Lovely. And here's the thing, I just feel that it's perfect. It's a perfect kind of nod and apology for the Netflix show being cancelled. It's got the exact vibe without being too earnest about it, without being too try hard. It's just hit it perfectly. And I always try and find if I think something's fabulous, I try and find a negative. I think something's awful, I try and find a positive. There wasn't a frame of this book that wasn't fantastic. I read it again to try and find something to criticise.
I'm glad you couldn't find
and I just couldn't. And I think that even all the other stuff that I have raved over without ignoring Descender, I'm sure I could find something bad to say about it, but this book was exceptional.
Oh, that's good. Oh, wow, sweet relief. Sweet relief. I will admit
you just sit there all giddy about everything, whereas I at least try and balance.
Not everything. There's stuff that I don't like. I just like to see the positives in the world, and someone likes to try and find negatives.
No, that's not how I do it. I try and find a balance, Fraser.
Okay, Thanos. I feel like it's going to be a Thanos kind of balance
I've been called worse.
Where it's a bad kind of balance. So I take it you're going to pass on this because you can't find any negatives.
I haven't finished. I still want to talk about this book. I love how this is one of the, he's one of the most famous characters in the Marvel Universe. And he has a bad day and he fails. And that's beautiful. Everyone can have a bad day and make a mistake and end up paying for it.
Because it's brilliant.
A mistake you shouldn't have made. And brilliant. I love the new character, Cole North, the cop.
Yeah.
He's an antagonist that isn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just on that cliffhanger.
It's brilliant.
Oh, I love this book.
See, the thing that I do like about that, what was it you mentioned before, Cole North? See, this is what happens when I lose track. You said something about that literally the listeners are shouting at me what you just said. Retrace your steps.
What, that it was exceptional, or that...
No, the actual, story point. I've literally just forgotten it.
The cop, or the anything? Oh, anybody can have a bad day.
Right, that was it. Yeah. So they touched upon this at the end of the Netflix series, where he was just getting beaten, and in this he gets beaten by 3 regular dudes, and at some points he can't tell that it's 3 dudes, and he goes through I've fought in ninjas, I've fought in Ultron, all these great things, and I can't. And it is that whole bad day, and it's like. Daredevil's one of the most human characters there, because you can say he's got a superpower, but that comes from a vulnerability, not a weakness. It comes from a vulnerability. It comes from a disability, and what an
But everybody
exceptional
has
character.
a bad day at the office, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I, for example, I've been a ring announcer for 9 years, but then I can get in the ring and forget where someone's from.
Blubber.
Yeah, and I can flubber. Or you can just be, you can be a computer programmer who puts an N when you should have put an F,
Yeah, exactly.
and the program doesn't work. And you should never, ever have put that N where you should have put an F. I don't know anything about programming.
You can be two radio hosts who were very sleep deprived.
Yeah,
maybe.
Listening back to last week's show, we weren't on our best. But anybody can have a bad day at the office, whatever your office is. If it's fighting thugs, if it's ring announcing, if it's
being Spider-Man.
If it's being Spider-Man, it's just just this book,
Just beautiful.
the most pulliest pull of all the pulls.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just so happy that we're both happy with this book. It's a pull all round, guys.
It is.
Now, the next book we're going to talk about was one of the two we wanted to talk about last week but didn't get to, but we've come back around. Redemption, I'm telling you, this whole pull pass. And that is... Which one should we do? We're going to do High Level by DC Vertigo line.
Before we talk about High Level and Anthem, I just want to shout out to Infinity Comics in Blackpool, who were lovely. We managed to fail on getting High Level and Anthem, and I was on holiday in Blackpool, and so I was like, ooh, there's a comic shop.
Nice.
And they're cool, they're super friendly, and they helped me out, and... They put up a poster for our show, so we like
Go them.
We like Infinity Comics here,
Bye, guys.
and I got my copies of High Level and Anthem from them.
Yes. So, High Level.
Yes,
What did you think of the book?
I really like sci-fi, and I've never hidden that. And this was some good dystopic cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
Little bit tropey. But I quite like tropey.
That's what I mean. When I saw this book, because I was like, oh, I can get a DC book for this, and obviously it's Vertigo, so it's.
I love Vertigo.
And we said last week that there was like 9 DC books, 6 more if you include like the Vertigo line and stuff like that. So we were very slim for choice. But then I saw this and went, oh, I know Mark's gonna like this, like the sci-fi element. And then I saw Vertigo and I was like, oh, I thought it was gonna be another DC, like just DC books he liked, but I was like, nah,
it's all about the Vertigo for me. I'm not shy about saying that majority of the time DC don't hit it with me. Wonder Twins last week, that was an exception, but all the Vertigo stuff I tend to like.
Yeah.
And this was great. It was a very vivid sci-fi world, yet there was still an element of mystery to it, which I liked. The art was fabulous, and I want to see some more.
This is definitely a pull.
Well, you talk about what you thought first before I tell you whether or not I'm pulling it.
Trying to hide your cards. I mean...
I don't think I did very well.
No, you didn't.
My poker face sucks.
Poker face was pretty poor. No, I just want to reiterate your thoughts exactly, really. The sci-fi was great. I liked the world they established, and... I want to see this higher level. I did like that sort of the hint of... Now, we talked about it in the news, sort of like, the religion sort of aspect of like the higher level, but there's sort of like that, the hierarchy that they've established here, and that someone's come from there and they want to figure out more. And it's like, I kind of want to know a bit more about this higher level too. And like we're with the characters we're following. It's like, oh, they're learning about the higher level too, aren't they? Well,
I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of Soylent Green level of nasty reveal about High Level.
Yeah, and it's not so nice that you think. Yeah, that's what we're reckoning for, I reckon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
Nice.
pretty cool. Do you feel that since we've started doing this show that my taste is rubbing off on you? Because I do feel a little bit that yours is rubbing off on
Well,
me.
considering you said you like Wonder Twins, the other DC book you pulled was Young Justice. Sort of like you're, maybe so.
Yeah.
But also, yes. And the good thing with this show is we're reading more books, which I really enjoyed, and I'll sort of use that as our segue for the next one. But first, pull or pass.
That was a pull. That was definitely a pull.
Definitely a pull for me as well. Now, for my segue, when we were reading this last book, it was very cool to see because it's from Dark Horse. Flicking through it, all the adverts were like, oh, we read that book. Oh, we read that book for Pull or Pass. We read that book for Pull or Pass.
Yeah, there's quite a few books.
Or we were like, we're reading that for Pull or Pass. So it was a nice little nudge. I mean, there's a lot of that in Marvel and DC, but that's to be expected because we covered...
But you're reading significantly more indies than you ever did, right?
Yeah. I mean, my indies were limited to Invincible, And yeah, Invincible.
Right, good.
And if Marvel did a book under IDW or something like sneaked one in there. Yeah, the last books we talked about, we're going to talk about, is Anthem by Dark Horse, and it's based off a video game I'm getting.
Which I didn't know until after I'd read the book. And I'm kind of glad, because I think I'd have gone in with a little bit more cynicism had I known it was a video game cash-in.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that you didn't know.
No, I didn't.
Because whenever I typed in hashtag Anthem on Twitter, there you go, it was like the video game, the comic came out at the same time as the video game. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I thought this was another, because we did StarCraft Soldiers. We did. Soldiers is a big word for me to say.
Which I did know was, obviously I knew, because I played StarCraft.
Yeah, I thought that was your go-to, because I was sort of like, I really enjoyed the story, but I was a bit taken away by the fact of the video game, just as I was like, I don't really... Because I think sometimes with those spin-offs, it happens with like when they do TV comics in... comics from TVs and comics from films and other medias, basically when they do a spin-off, there is that sort of reliance or hope that you know a bit about the world, so I was a bit worried about that, but the two main characters whose journey we follow helped me just forget about that, because at the beginning I was very much like,
that was something I was going to say.
This. Yeah.
I didn't know it was a video game, and that didn't impact on it, and I'm glad that I didn't know it was a video game, because I might have gone in expecting, well, this is going to be rubbish, I'm not going to know the world. But they established it very well, and it was a perfect standalone without the video game, which I think is important. It's an achievement, to be honest with you, because I have no intention of buying the video game.
I know, yeah. Well, that was it for me as well. Like I say, I'm interested in these two characters' story. So. Is it? I probably would pull, but then it's one of them. I would see it going. I wouldn't see me continuing with the pull if it gets to video, based off the video.
Well,
game.
It wasn't what I'd expected. It was less about being sci-fi and action, and it was more about snapshots of family and friendship, which I really, really loved.
That's my kind of vibe, that families and friendship.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was done really well, really tastefully, and it was done so well that the ending was a perfectly acceptable ending.
Yeah, which is one of those things as well, like I'm happy reading this as a one-off. I might have to wait a bit and then find out to see, maybe ask someone else who's reading it. I know someone on a couple of people, when we put the polls out last week, because we were going to do it last week, did put that they were going to pull it, so I might ask their opinions with the later issues, whether or not it does get video, like very based off the video games, or if it is the focus on these two characters, like you say, the friends and the friendship, then I probably would pull, because I have been burnt in the past by starting to put something on my pull because of one thing I like, and then they stop doing that one thing I like. Sometimes it does work out though, like I pulled a book because there was 2 Spider-Men in them, then they froze, but then I got to read Avengers No Surrender and was very happy about that, so we'll have to see where we go with it. But what about you? Pull or pass?
This book I really enjoyed, but the ending was such a complete ending that I don't feel
the need to carry on.
That I need to carry on. It was a great little book, a great little story, and it was all completely. It came to an ending that I liked, and it was lovely.
Yeah,
I really loved it, but I don't feel like I need any more. So, despite the fact it was brilliant, this one's a pass.
Yeah, I know, and it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Because when you say you're going to pass on something, you feel like you're saying something negative about the book. But this issue was great. Definitely recommend it. And if you're into the video game, 100% recommend it. And I imagine you probably already got it. But like we always say, we're interested to know about you, fellow geeks. What were your opinions on these books? Have you already put Daredevil on your? Have you already put these on your pull? Because they're a bit backdated. Are you continuing to read Daredevil? Was something else on your pull this week?
You must be crazy if you're not reading Daredevil.
I know, yeah. If you're not, get on it.
In all seriousness, 20 shows in. That is my pulliest pull.
Pull is the best.
And I suspect that will remain until we read a sender.
Yeah, we should do a reflective show where it's like we pick our best ones in. My memory's terrible, so I'll probably do whatever book we did last week.
This is why I have a book of notes, Fraser.
Oh, I thought you just had a great memory. I've been lied to you this whole time.
No.
But yeah,
my short-term memory's terrible, and my short-term memory's also terrible.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, with that, yeah, like we say, Facebook group, Twitter, Mark's favourite website, Tumblr, and the YouTube comment sections below. Shoot a message our way. Let us know your thoughts and what you pulled, what you passed, and other geeky thoughts, basically.
So listen to Geek of the Week. Be sure to tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter. Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.